takes a step forward.
Okay.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Now Podcast, the Hood Edition. The Negroes are in full effect.
The Hood Edition?
This is the Hood Edition. We got our guys.
This nice ass fucking B&B, this the Hood Edition? How that work?
The trap house.
Niggas got out the hood. Come on now.
Don't
Also, niggas can't hear you unless you talking to
us.
Yeah, pick it up like regular mic.
Bet. For sure.
I'm saying, pick the shit up.
Oh, you want to pick it up? Oh, okay.
If you gonna talk, let's say something.
I thought it could pick it up from right here. I was so
No, because it's a pin on. It's a lavalier mic.
Aha. All right.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That's why
Share it
This is
around.
what it looks like when you beat a house full of niggas. One-on-one and a house full of niggas.
Nigga, we're tied.
No, it's...
We are tied, nigga.
Really not.
You won 3 games. I won 3 games.
See, I wish y'all
What are we talking about?
Anyway, if you hear these niggas,
Y'all know how to read a chart, though.
if you hear a lot of ignorance
That don't.
in this
I just won that
video,
game.
just know that this is the
Y'all
end
know
of a
how to read the
convention.
chart, right? So
Niggas have been working very hard,
and
and there is alcohol involved in conversation.
You made some money. You made some green.
We made some green, and there's alcohol involved in conversation as well. So there will be a lot of ignorance on this camera, more than likely. A lot of ignorance. So anybody watching, we are in Los Angeles, California.
One eternity later.
I don't know what I'm gonna title this video, what the topic of the video is gonna be. It's gonna, I guess, niggas being niggas. I guess.
Mr. Diesel, can you pass me the drink? Because at this point,
Yeah, please.
he giving me a stress.
I thought you was already drunk the way you was talking.
Anyway, you guys are familiar with these guys. These are the guys from Tapn,
Nigga, it's
Capn.
not, see, wow, you so focused on me.
Mr. Kahn,
You
man,
got
could
2
you,
other niggas you played against.
Mr. Kahn, man, could you introduce yourself to the camera, please? Could you, Mr. Strawhat, could you, Mr. Strawhat, introduce yourselves? Because there is a camera rolling right now. You guys are on camera. Don't say nothing reckless.
Oh man, you know it's your boy Strawhat Juffy. Make it do what it doofy. Hey, as usual, man, you can find me here, there, and everywhere else like air, man. You know, a true player in the atmosphere, man. I'm here, man. I'm here.
Mr.
A
Kahn,
winner.
Mr. Kahn, man.
Comment, KJM_men, that 510, that's the Bay. Catch me Universal the Bay. Catch me on What It Sound Like podcast. You get your best reviews and interviews, and catch me on the Blurred Approved Entertainment on Tapn. No Capn. You feel me? If you're a nerdy, you seen it, then what's your opinion? Let's get it.
As usual, we have Professor E, King of the Comics, Ethan Murphy, and Lelouch V, Otis East, Big G, OG, Big Blurred, Stank Meaner, Eustace, all those and above, man. We got our guy here. And I'm your co-host, Captain Diesel.
What it do?
These niggas ain't. No. What's good, y'all?
Hold on. Yeah, so we are here kind of going over, recapping LA Comic-Con and whatever other ignorance happens in conversation. I'm going to allow it to happen on this camera. And if it gets too crazy, I'll edit it out later. But we're good.
If Charlie in, I'm sitting out because I want to talk shit.
Jesus Christ.
Because you're in the lead, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to realize I gave him these nicknames for the key reason, the key phrase.
I didn't really set him up like that, though.
Oh, you played before him. So.
I mean,
Yeah.
But a lot of time he was playing off of who was playing before me. But I mean,
That goes against his analogy.
He doesn't want to own up to you.
I love how you now. See, this is how I know you're a side busting ass nigga because you just used that against me the whole game. When it applied to him, now your theory has changed. Now it's a whole new theory.
What did I say about me and him? When I said it this way, I said I can worry about these two people. There's no way I can really. You're a bonus, which I did anyway when I did the 3 knockers. Before I get to him, I gotta go through 2 people. This is your one.
Right, and that's your one.
He's more.
You're his one.
No,
like looking at how the game played though.
You have to stop him.
So
I
he
have
fed
to worry
you.
about y'all too.
So I said the same thing
But no,
that you
but
said
like,
about me to him.
Half the time,
And he fed you.
Hey,
How many times-
could you tell us how
And
your
I stopped
recap
y'all.
your experience at LA Comic Con this year?
It was cool.
It was,
We had a good time. Met a lot of good people. Got a chance to talk to one of my childhood heroes and I can't remember. Yeah, Dan Reba. One of the lead animators for Static Shock, Batman, the animated series, Justice League.
Apparently he worked on one of the guys we talked with, apparently he was working on a Green Lantern animated series that got scrapped. But he had like designs for it, he had on his Facebook.
Because he was with the Dream of Justice.
That boy Charlie gonna bring up that
Back to playing off 6, right?
that Green Lantern in any conversation. Some
Oh.
way,
Every conversation.
I mean,
some way, somehow.
this one wasn't that impressive. This is
Something
how-
is talking to us over there. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I was hearing the same shit.
Serious somebody.
This nigga Otis. I'm gonna tell y'all a story in a minute. We're gonna recap some shit. This nigga Otis would be having ghosts instead of around this nigga.
It's possible.
The ghost of Chicago following him away
I'm
from
not
home.
surprised.
Nah, we straight.
I'll let y'all see.
Yeah, bro.
The ghost of these streets, ma. Yeah, there you go.
We we in the Airbnb, me and him just chilling, talking about whatever we talking about, basketball, some other shit. And I hear a beep go off, and this nigga Otis is like, "Hey, bro, do you hear that?" And I did, and I was like, "Yeah, bro, I heard it. What's up? What's up with it?" He said, "Yeah, man, I've been hearing that shit all day long, and I'm just not hearing it." I'm like, "This nigga haunted. This nigga ghost of Christmas."
You heard it too, so it's not just me.
I didn't hear it all day till that moment. You said you've been hearing it all day, and I was like, "This nigga got me haunted now." Now I'm hearing this shit. I'm almost fucking baptized
I was
myself
with you
in.
the whole day when I was hearing this shit. I was
I
paying
didn't
attention.
hear it until I sat down with you alone in the dark at 3
That
o'clock in
just
the
mean
morning.
you not observing.
Nah, bro. I don't play around with them spirits, boy.
It's-
I don't do this shit.
Speaking of unobserving, it's your turn.
Is it my turn? That's crazy. let me hold my domino like an adult, and figure this out.
Try.
Yeah, you take this shit from me.
All right, what you had to say? What was your recap your experience?
So while they're playing the game, I'll go ahead and recap. It was a great experience meeting all y'all, seeing all y'all. The best part, though, the highlight of the highlights for me, I'm gonna say it real quick. I'm gonna say it real quick, get it over with. I met a cosplayer dressed like my favorite femme fatale from a video game, and was able to make out with her on site.
Damn,
I can die happy. I can die happy. Another highlight, though. Of course, I got to mention. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. We heard about the upcoming comic book called Space Negro. But it was from the whitest dude imaginable, and he was so excited about it. This is an unforgettable Kahn. Also, speaking of Kahn, seeing my man Kahn and Drew go at it for epically over a tie. That is like two brothers have known each other their whole lives.
Bro, it be killing me because whenever I go on Tapn and we finish the show, we sit there. These niggas just argue for a good 2 hours after the fact. I be like, "Hey, yeah, bro, I gotta go." Hey, Diesel, you seen that shit? You agree with that bullshit? No, I don't know, bro. I ain't really see it. I ain't really hear what he said like that. These two niggas be going.
I go park outside. I gotta go.
So if you guys want to see these two Negroes debate and argue 24/7 with not only themselves but other individuals, that's the content for you, man. These dudes are funny. These dudes do what they do very well. They are very talented, and I always recommend their content.
Oh my god, that impressive.
Man, you drinking out the bottle, boy.
I had like 7 sips of that, and I was done.
If I seem a little out of it, I have been mixing alcohol in a very dangerous way. I've not done this since college, and I do not want to do this again.
So like 3
What
days
was that,
ago,
a couple
nigga?
of months ago?
Right.
I ain't did this shit since college. What?
I just started drinking in August.
Thank you. These old niggas over here. Get on me.
Hey, yo, Charlie, what's your highlight, bro? Like,
My highlights, man, just being around my brothers for real. I treat this trip every year like a company retreat, if you will. I get to kick it with my ignorant brothers, make some money, and network with people that potentially influence my life in a positive manner, which we got to do with Mr. Dan Reba, and maybe some big things coming with the individual we met during the interview. And I will say one of the highlights.
Putting that out into the world until it's confirmed.
Nah,
bro.
I ain't saying nothing about that till it's on paper or some shit. But I will talk about is an individual we met, our guy Brandon Cash, B Cash.
oh, B Cash.
Like I said before, very rarely do I meet people just randomly on the street in conversation and really feel like I'm a kindred spirit with that individual. We were literally in the line to some party, talking shit, me doing me. And then Brandon starts cracking little jokes in. He's like, he starts working his way into the conversation, and we're like, "Oh, this nigga is not afraid of us at all." Okay, cool. Because the people behind us were kind of looking at us kind of funny, and they're like double dutching, like, "I don't know if I can jump into their conversation now."
Them niggas was like, these niggas too cool for us. I just want to piggyback off their conversation. That's what
Brandon was like, "Nah, nigga, that shit was funny, but it was funny, huh?"
But then also, you see this girl, too, is talking about Wilt Chamberlain, and he was like,
Yeah, me and him got into a basketball conversation, and anybody
sorry.
that has basketball conversations with me is usually pretty good.
B Cash was cool.
Yeah, dude was like a young old head. Like he was Reminded me a lot of myself because Buddy is 30, but looked like he was in his early 20s.
He's 30. That's cool.
I was like, ain't no fucking way you 30 years old, bro. That's just crazy. So yeah, to my hermano, Brandon, if you watching this, appreciate you for coming through. We're gonna get some content done with you in the very near future. Tapn guys, give us your highlights from the con. I know you guys weren't exhibitors, but you guys did kind of hang out, go through vendor halls, and have some networking opportunities.
So for me, my highlight is usually always the same. Just being able to go out and see like-minded individuals come out and enjoy the same thing that you enjoy. That's always a plus for me. You know, I like that. All of us in the same building like the same stuff. Nobody is in here really considered weird. But it was also a bonus being able to meet everybody that I've been socializing with on the internet for the past year, because like I said, that's new for me. So, you know, it was pretty dope to finally meet everybody in person, you know, put character to online faces and demeanors. You know, it was cool. I liked that. I also got to meet, as an artist, I got to meet Ozzy the Virus. Bro does some dope artwork. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen his work if they don't know his name to his art. But got to meet him, which is a young black artist out here doing his thing. That was actually thanks to you last night. So yeah, follow bro. I'll be stealing this thing from my wallpapers. So I was like, yeah, I told him that too. I was like, yeah, bro, I just literally changed your wallpaper.
Those points.
Yeah. 10 for me, 15 for them.
That's just crazy because, tell me about dude. And he showed me his artwork on his socials, and I was like, you already followed this nigga, so he gotta be cool. And what I didn't realize was there's so many different art pieces that I've seen passed around groups that I didn't know he was the artist of. Like a lot of them, like a lot of the mashups.
Cold, bro. Ozzy Code.
Dude is nice. So shout out Ozzy again. We met a lot of amazing people out here, and it's always dope to go to a kind of meet like-minded individuals. And I talk about this experience because it's very similar to my experience, like working at the HBCU now, is when you're around people that look like you, that know your experience of being like a black nerd or being a nerd in general. It's very welcoming and freeing, and you don't really feel alone anymore in that environment. So again, I come because I really enjoyed that.
That's when you let the crazy stuff first. Now I'll say.
You can chime in, brother. Chime in.
All I was gonna say was another highlight of the con is when people come up to our table and they actually, especially this year with Blurred, when people come to your table and they're actually grateful that you exist, because like I feel safe in this environment around other creatives that look like me, that want to tell stories that involve people like me, where we're represented in a positive light, or in at least a nuanced light, as opposed to always being the same kind of stereotypical portrayals. So actually seeing several young women at the con that were actually really engaged, really excited about storytelling, really into comics. We have a couple that wanted to be artists. Was Otis and you, that the young girls that want to actually work with us, and they're still in school. So that's really inspiring to me.
Kahn, man.
Let me play this.
Gregory.
Let me. You're foul. You are foul. You playing too much. Hold on real quick. I said
Gregory is low hanging fruit. Like you got to go extra with it. Like it's like Craigford or some shit like that.
Low hanging fruit. Low hanging
this is
fruit.
wait. We start on Big Six,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I didn't expect that.
Yeah. With that being said, though, yeah. So first of all, shout out to the people that I met at the con. I think it's dope that I've been in the space long enough now to where I start running into people that I've seen multiple times. Seen Otis multiple times at this point. Charlie, Ethan. This is my first time being able to bring my brother along. I'm so glad that we was able to work that out. God works in mysterious ways, so I'm glad that he brought us together to be out here together. You know what I mean? The things that people see online when they watch Tapn, no Capn, they can actually see in person. Also, shout out to Lorena. She's the parkour girl on Instagram. She just hit 500K. Saw her at DreamCon. Did a little video thing for her out there. Then, ran into her again out here for LA cons. She's a dope person. So if y'all see her on Instagram, all that, follow her. That's one. And then shout out to Antoine Bendel. thing about me is I've always done like versus debates and stuff like that prior to being on podcasts and all that stuff. And he kind of helped inspire that because I loved how he did that with his video editing. He's also like a really big Avatar fan. Everybody knows I'm a huge Avatar fan. So when I seen him the first time in person, vibe was cool. He told me he was gonna do an interview with me on Tapn on Capn on the 15th, so stay tuned on that. And man, of course, just like how Juice and everybody else, it's just always a blessing to be around like-minded people. Your brothers, like, it's one thing that we all come from different walks of life, and life happens to everybody. But when you can all commune, this community, that is a rare breed. That for us older folks, unlike Charlie. This was a very rare opportunity to be around other blurs, not just nerds, but black people who are also into nerdom, because it wasn't cool for people like us growing up. So like being around other dudes that come from Chicago, Oakland, cities where, what I'm saying, it's real rough. For us to come from those same backgrounds and be able to have a different special type of bond is always good for me. So.
No, you keep that. I got a question for you.
Okay, but
Mr. Kahn, you being, very elderly yourself and get into the game a little bit later. And this is around your.
That's fine.
This is around your.
It's a blessing.
Your age is literally insulting my age, bro.
We're twins. Born on the same day.
You look 30.
Too bad. Two birds. Two birds, one stone. But like I said, being in the home now, and this is your first full year of content creation at this point now, because you started almost.
This is our first year. We just accomplished a year.
Yeah,
so we on our second now.
You've been a year. Hey, bro, I love being around the elderly, man. You guys really give me a lot of game. Doing that and being consistent for about a full year now, what have been some of the highs and the lows you guys have had in it? Because a lot of people aren't consistent for more than 2 weeks. So to be sticking with it for a year is a big goal and accomplishment.
Yeah.
No matter the numbers, honestly.
Oh, man. First and foremost, I know you got a lot to say. Okay, so first and foremost, with my boy Charlie.
Keep talking. I'm gonna check the game.
No, I got you. With my boy Charlie, it is a good thing to have the difference in age groups because we didn't grow up in the media era. You feel me? We grew up in the MySpace, typing in the codes to make the numbers and shit fall down from the page to put your music on. So doing this extra stuff, like I didn't even have an Instagram before doing podcasting. I didn't have a TikTok, none of that stuff. So I'm learning as I go. So it's a good thing that we have somebody who reached out to us to be like, hey, bro, I think y'all have a good chemistry or y'all cool. Like, I like what y'all do as far as, like, just being blurs in general, not even really posting content on our own, like, pages, just, like, being out there. And he was like, I think y'all should do this. So learning game from him is cool. It's kind of like King and a Conqueror, you feel me? Like, time is an illusion, you feel me? Because even though it's like, he's younger, I really do think that Charlie is beyond his years when it comes to wisdom, you feel me? So past all that, coming into this, and why it was hard about, going for a full year. Things change. You feel me? Dynamics change, rather that because, the first episode we had Jaira. Shout out to Jaira. You know what I mean? We know personally, you went through something, you feel me? I hope everything's going good with you and your family. You know what I mean? Reach out to you later. So Jaira fell off. She had some things going on. So that was one thing. Jew had things personally going on. So he had to, you feel me, step back. But there was also some, like, it's cool. It's hard when you're trying to do a podcast by yourself. You feel me? Like when you got multiple people who are good at multiple different things, but then you also kind of like business, you got to each one teach one. So if somebody else fall off, you got to pick up where, you feel me, they not able to do. So like Jew is the art man. Everybody know when it comes to art, nobody really touching with Jew. So I had to learn how to do, again, somebody who's never done podcasting, no media, had to learn how to do flyers and all that different stuff because he had to do his own personal business. Then, so it's multiple different things. Learning how to do a StreamYard, learning how to be consistent. That's the biggest thing. Like, it's hard to be consistent when you got personal life going on. You got cast members that got personal life going on. It could change your motivation. You feel what I'm saying? Because for me, the biggest part of me wanting to do this was because of Jew. You feel me? First of all, me and Jew was talking about doing what Jew approached me about doing podcast a long time ago, call it Situation Deliberations, and because Charlie and Otis came to us with a proposition, we was like, let's just do it this way first. You feel what I'm saying? Get a following, woo woo woo. You feel what I'm saying? So when it comes to the dynamic in our friendship, that's what motivates me to want to be a part of the show, because it's like, oh, I get to fuck with my nigga. Like, oh, this is what we do on a regular day basis. So it's like, for me, that's motivating. But then when that dynamic changes, then it's like, okay, well, what's going to keep me going to want to continuously do content? And so whatever that is for you, you need to find whatever it is your personal reason to want to achieve whatever you feel like is either healing, therapeutic, or what is success for you. You feel what I'm saying? I think that for other people, don't base your either happiness or your reasonings for something that you do every day off of anything else outside of what are your own personal motivations and goals.
So first thing I want to say, so your question was what motivated us to like continue doing this after, like, you know,
Just like your overall thoughts on doing it a full year and your ups and downs and how you felt about it. It's
first
never
word, patience. That's the main thing. No, it's Charlie Platt. But first thing I feel is patience, bro. That shit gets very overwhelming. Especially when it's not your main thing. It's more of like a hobby or side thing, but it has potential to be something more, and like it starts requiring more of your attention, and you didn't realize it needed that much attention. But it is patience, bro, because like we got regular day lives, regular jobs, we do regular day stuff, priorities, bills, everything. So it's like this was a hobby, and then it became something that we stream every Friday. Unlike the average podcast who streams probably once a month or once every 2 weeks, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's something that's pre-recorded, so they can go in there and edit it and do all that. Everything we did was raw, and I think that's what made us be able to keep doing it. We never really had to make any edits or go back and, you know, cover up nothing. We kept everything raw and authentic. Mm-hmm. And then for me personally, I'm very antisocial in reality. Like, I'm a people person. I know how to socialize, but in reality, I'm antisocial. Like, after 15 minutes of conversation, I want to be quiet for that rest of the hour. Like, I'll be quiet for the rest. But for me, I found out I enjoy just sitting on the internet. And it ain't even got to be internet, because I do it in person now, going to conventions and meeting up with people. But I just enjoy having conversations. Again, it's like going out there and being around I enjoy being around people that talk about the same thing that I talk about. And being able to do that and bring in so many people, like guests, as much as we did, I think that also kept it going, because that brought in engagement and people interested in watching it. Because it's like, oh, this person might be on this week, so they'd bring people in for us. So that was cool. And then also, I don't know, just basically being able to, I don't know, just work, like you said, work together with your friends and your homeboys that, you know, people see that, oh, like y'all just realize we the same in person as we is on the internet. Like, and then that's another thing. I think that's why we kept going, because we never made a skit. Most people, they got to make a skit or put up a gimmick, and then once you start that gimmick, you have to continue on with that. You have to stick to that. We never had to do that, so everything was organic for us. We was able to just be us, so we never had to work that hard as far as sticking to a routine or a script. We didn't have to do that, so that's what kind of left us in the game. So people kept seeing us. We own every Friday, like, so eventually somebody gonna start watching this. It's every Friday. It's like that song that you don't like, but for some reason it's always on wherever you go, so you eventually learn either the chorus or the first couple verses or something like that. That's how we end up doing. Like, we did it so much, it's like, oh well, we here now. It's like people start getting used to us. And trust me, I tried to change the date like 30 times. I tried to say, hey, you want to skip and do every 2 weeks, bro. You want to do it Friday. But no, yeah, just consistency, bro, and just enjoy what you're doing. Right. Don't put on a persona that you can't stick to, because that's eventually how you fall off. Right. That's just.
I wanted to chime in and say something real quick. I just want to say, one of my favorite things is be a fan of yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you doing this because you're a fan of other content creators, like, oh, I want to do content because I want to get in touch with this person or be in these crowds or wherever like that. Don't do that. You feel me? That's a very depressive lifestyle. I literally go back and watch our episodes. Either it be the same night, either one, just because I either do it because one, I'm like trying to see how it worked, or two, because I really enjoyed the episode. Like, it was times that early when me and Jew was doing it solo dolo, just me and him, the episode we did, who had better kicks between Will Smith and Dwayne from A Different World.
That's your second one, right?
Yeah, it's like second episode. You feel me? It wasn't.
Really?
It was Wayne. Dwayne. Yeah. You admitted that I won, bro.
No, that was the results of the voting. I admit that that's what the voting.
Anyways, he told me.
Dwayne has some
Yeah.
kicks, but like,
Don't instigate
Will,
this shit.
I say
Wait.
Will put that shit on, bro.
Will put other niggas
Dwayne
on?
definitely put that shit
Do you
on.
understand that Will Smith like put Jordans on?
We were
Like,
doing so well.
you know that
We were
happened
doing
in
so
real
well.
life.
We can't. All I want y'all to do is that's a little shout out. Go watch episode 2 of Tapn.
Yeah.
So y'all
Anyway.
see the bullshit that occurred at the end.
Yes.
Will Smith put Jordans on.
Basically, like a long story short, I love what we created. So if you're a fan of yourself, I think that's enough motivation enough to keep going on past a year. You don't do it for the pleasing other people that you don't know, or to try to create something to be famous. If you like your own stuff and you genuinely enjoy it, and especially if you like the company that you keep, that's enough motivation to keep going. Because for me, I don't know about any of y'all outside of Jew. I didn't have friends growing up. You feel me? I don't have memories. I go back and go, oh, you remember whoop, whoop, whoop. But I do that with Jew because we did a podcast together. So for me, it's something lovely for me to be like, yo, I remember that memory. Oh, I remember we went to this Comic-Con. Oh, I remember when we made this episode. Oh, you remember when we ran into that celebrity so for me, it's personally healing for me just as an individual, because not only do I get to do nerd stuff that I was deprived of, but also I create a brotherhood that I never had growing up. You feel me? So
I say one thing real quick. It's fun thinking about this. I say one thing real quick. It's funny about Craig.
I've been nigga.
That's a skosh. That's a skosh.
who started it?
No, Charlie played. So it's between you and me. I don't know if you played.
You only have
Kick your hand. Check your hand.
I got 3.
All I was gonna say was it's fun listening to Craig say what he just said, because I sometimes forget that Craig started off as a fan of our show, and so seeing him come where he has, he's our first fan, our first real fan. So it's fun seeing Craig come as far as he has, talking about how you should enjoy what you do, because clearly he actually he got into it because he enjoyed watching us, listening to us. So right on, Craig. I mean, let that be inspiration to y'all. If you see somebody doing something that you enjoy, pursue it. Why not? You never know what might happen. You can find a brother.
Shout out to the NL podcast, man.
Yeah, a question I have from my brothers, my two co-hosts. We've been doing this for a little bit longer, around 2-ish years. So we're still very new in the game ourselves to a certain extent. Because I've never asked y'all this particular question, but to pose the same question to you guys, pretty much. What have been like your highs and lows of us creating this content all together? Because as we know, we've gone through a lot of different changes, whether that be video formats, scheduling, having differences of opinion on what to review, how to do it, or all the and above. So what have been a lot of your highs and lows 2 years in the game, and what keeps you doing it? We can start with either one of y'all. Whatever one of y'all.
Quick question. We are very wholesome right now. Is it okay if we bullshit a little bit?
Yeah, bro.
Okay, I just want to be clear.
Nigga, I can't stop you.
Okay, for sure. I just wasn't sure what was the temperature in the room. You feel me?
No,
Go ahead.
I just talked just a second ago.
Lows. I don't necessarily think I don't think I ever had a low since we've been making content. My low came before we started. Dealing with the transition from from being nerds with melanin to Bay, and now to Blurred. It hasn't been easy, honestly. It took a lot out of me to try to not be fazed by the process of the transition, but it was a perpetual low for me because I felt that I had failed everybody. We had built a pretty big platform, and I wanted to be a conduit for people to get the recognition that I feel that they deserve because I feel we have a lot of talent around. And knowing that I didn't have that platform to give to people, it made me not feel valuable in myself, honestly. I didn't think that I had anything to give to anyone. So, I guess the low was more so internal. It wasn't anything to do with the content itself. High, anytime I get to actually review a piece of content that is exceptional to me, is always a high. Getting to talk about shows like Arcane, Castlevania, House of the Dragon, things that are just genuinely well made, start to finish. Being able to praise something and genuinely feel that is always a high for me. I love giving praise to things, which is why I also am so harsh on content on the back end, because if you're not good, why the fuck is you do it? So, yeah, that was a really roundabout answer, so I apologize there. But yeah, the high is always just being able to talk about things that I enjoy with people I enjoy talking to. The low was really just internal and trying to find where I am valuable to other people and to myself.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. What's funny, I was going to mention also the high was definitely like one of it was 2 years ago, right around this time that we made Arcane video, like a kind of almost on a whim in a sense. And that Arcane video, while I was at the Kahn, I was like, yo, Otis, Charlie, you realize that video is getting more and more views. And as I was going to Christmas break, I remember Charlie being like, yo, man, if this video gets 1,000 views, I'm a die, I'm gonna lose myself. And the video went on to get like over 6,000 or 7,000 views. And Charlie, it was just, I love seeing Charlie actually be proud of his work. And I got the same high today watching. It was the first time I got a chance to see Charlie and Otis sell their books and essentially brag about their books they made. They spent lots of time making. It's like, yeah, that's what you should do. You should be proud of your work. You should be proud of it. You should actually be happy to make a sale with somebody. You should be smiling when you talk about your baby. I get it entirely. So yeah, 100%. The lows are definitely is more like Otis was saying. It's kind of the exterior. Doing this, like y'all know how Craig knows this too. This town is so expensive. It's like wow. So it just like trying to actually do the podcast and work 2 or 3 jobs at once is infuriating. Having these guys come to my place last year and have to literally sleep on my floor with no complaints, I felt like shit. You're right there by my Jeep, my broke ass car. So it's the idea of being. The pursuit of what you want to do is always great, but the struggle to do so is always heavy. So yeah, I love doing the podcast, but it's all the other things that get in the way that hurt a lot. So, but how about you? For you, Def, what you got?
For me, this podcast experience these last 2 years. Well, since even beyond these last 2 years, when me and Ethan first started this when I was in my junior year of college, and I think like 20. Maybe it may have been 2020 or 2019. It started at 2 very pivotal moments in my life. One being obviously the pandemic and going through that situation that a lot of other people went through throughout the world of the loneliness to an extent, because you're locked up at home with your family. But if you're like me, where you're probably the only nerdy individual in your household, and you really can't have all the conversations you want to have, it's a little tough. So having the outlet to, at that point, doing it on like a really shitty iPhone, and Otis and Ethan being there for me in that extent was a very important thing for me, and it really kept me going. But also going through like my grandfather's passing. That was a very, very rough moment in my life, because my grandfather was essentially my father in my life, and taught me how to be a man to an extent. Or not even to an extent, so hold it to the literal point. And the podcast was a way for me to further express myself and initially be a distraction to not have to think about it, because I watched the man that I grew up seeing as the strongest Superman individual in my life slip away and just become weaker and weaker. It got to me a lot, and I had to kind of hold that in. And being able to channel that sorrow into creativity and do some amazing stuff with my brothers really helped me get through that in more ways than I think they even understand. It really meant a lot for me, which is why in a lot of instances I know I got annoying about it because I was like, we gotta record this video, we gotta do this, we haven't done anything in a week. I need this outlet to really help me continue to be myself and feel like I was at an equilibrium. So I can never thank them enough for helping me in a time where I was lost and felt like I didn't really know how to be myself because everything that was me was in my superhero, my grandfather, and he was gone. Which is again that sadness was able to transition to me meeting people like Kahn. Like I said, I fuck with Kahn because he reminds me a lot of my grandfather, that military vet that's again very geriatric in nature. But the loyalty levels are resounding and have no limit. Like he will ride or die for the people that he considers a friend and a colleague, and I respect that and I keep that dear to me. But just on a content tip, I also want to thank Otis as well because when I initially started all this stuff and getting into all this, I had no interest in being a content creator. It was just a matter of finding a like-minded community of people that looked like me that enjoyed that stuff. And then when I saw that, hey, maybe I can be good at this thing or do this thing, that's when the content creation stuff started to come through. And me being able to be blessed enough to have these two people that just happened to be in my life at the right time and the right moment, we got that stuff going. So I fought to try to have you guys buy in, and once you guys bought into the process is when we started to really take off. And I really started to have a lot more fun with it because we're having that constant conversation of, what are we going to talk about today? What are we going to review today? What's coming out in the future? And even beyond the numbers, like I know some days there was the initial natural reaction of, we put out this thing and it only had 3 views. I had to learn to get over that and just enjoy the experience for what it was. And if somebody sees this 15 years in the future, they see it and it helps them out. And again, another thing like that goes to Kahn because he was the first person to see the content and let me know like, hey, this one viewer really enjoyed this content and meant a lot for me to make that. And that really gave me a different perspective on it.
I would almost, in a way, it's Ouroboros. I feel like Kahn is here because we did stuff to make the podcast. He's here making his own podcast. But I wonder if we would be here if it wasn't for Kahn because we would he kept motivating us like we have to do something. But because Kahn's actually listening, because he would actually call us while he was driving to work, say, "Hey man, I listened to y'all the entire hour or whatever."
Why do you
drive
think
to work
shorter, nigga?
Yeah, make them longer. So it kept us going. Right as we were like, "Why are we doing this? No one gives a shit. We're in the middle of nowhere. Let's just stop." And then Kahn's like, "Hey man, why'd you stop? Why'd you stop?" It's like that was 2.5 hours. I don't care what more. It's like, all right, we have one person. If no one else listens, we have one person. So it's a weird thing. But also, that's kind of let that be a lesson to you again. You never know who's there. It may just be that one person that actually gives a shit about what you're doing. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
So again, all this happy shit aside, again, I thank all my brothers involved because it all feeds into one another. And this has been a blessing and amazing experience for me. I lost a father, but gained multiple brothers, and that doesn't completely fill that hole that's in my heart, but it does a great job to get there and make sure that I don't have that loss of love in my life. But to continue on some nerdy shit, this was an interesting con. We had some interesting people come in. We spoke about House of the Dragon, or Otis spoke about House of the Dragon earlier. There was guests like Matt Smith, Mr. Damien. I almost called that nigga Damien. Is Damon, right? Damon Targaryen himself. I didn't meet that nigga. I wish. He was there.
Well, we met him. We saw him in the interview. And then when he came down, we waved at him and he waved back. That don't really count as anything.
Right.
Did he say it's morphin' time?
No.
You say it's morphin' time? Is that what you said? Morphin' time. I forgot that. Oh, God.
But no discredit to Kahn. I do appreciate how much you have poured into us and the podcast itself. But whether you were watching or nobody was watching, I was gonna talk my shit regardless, right? Like there is no universe where you are going to stop me from putting my opinion out there because I live my life unable to do that, right? In my household, like my opinion was not heard. In sports, my opinion wasn't heard. In school, my opinion wasn't heard. So now that I have gotten to a place where people are actually tuning into what I say, I mean, there was no stopping me. And even if nobody was listening, there's no stopping me either because I've been repressed too long to keep that shit in anymore. And I'm on a mission at this point. Like it's an everyday thing. I live this shit. Like there is not going to be a single day where I'm not going to be putting out content of some kind, having conversation with somebody of some kind because it's everything to me. Being able to connect with people, disagree with people, agree with people, formulate opinions of content means more to me than most conversations outside of that. Like, you know, people talk about how much they hate small talk. Like, I don't hate small talk. It's irrelevant. Like, it means nothing. Like, you're asking me what today, like, how's the weather? I'm like, I'm gonna ignore you, honestly, because it doesn't matter. My brain is already so laser focused on how can I connect with more people? How can I help other people to not feel how I felt? Like, not feel how, you know, feel like they're in a position where what they say doesn't matter. That I don't know. It's almost like a laser focus. It's a compulsion. It is a necessity. I play it.
No, I was gonna try to
To chime into the conversation.
Appreciate the compliments, but yeah, I don't feel that way either. I feel like y'all would have been what y'all are today, regardless if I would have commented or not. But just like how Charlie been like, even when BMT hits me up and be like, hey man, I ain't seen Tapn no Capn post an episode. Hey, what's happening? You feel me? So like, I just think that as fellowship works, it's important to have fellowship because even if you was gonna do it, it helps you to just, again, how we all said, be consistent. You know what I'm saying? You might, hey, I ain't feeling today. Or, you know, like sometimes Charlie has had to hold the episode by himself. Or, you feel me? Oh, okay. Well, Otis not available, maybe I won't do it today. You feel me? So even if that's just a motivation for one member or whatever, you know, it's good that we all hold each other accountable. You feel me? But speaking into conversations that you were saying earlier, you feel me? Having nerd conversations. Segue. You feel me? The conversation that we had at the Blurred party, you know what I'm saying, between me, you, and a couple of other folks.
Sure.
I called Whitebeard Whiteboard because he got chalked out, and I feel like, you know what I'm saying, I don't feel like that arc was as hard as everybody tries to make it for One Piece. So, you feel me? What do y'all feel, man? I don't
change the subject. That's all you
have. Spoil my whole shit. I'm only 200 episodes into One Piece. Goddamn.
Damn, nigga, you ain't there. Hey, if you ain't there yet, that's on you personally.
It is.
It is.
On account of, like, I watched Marineford when I was in college. That was a long ass time ago. If you, I mean, it's not even spoilers at this point. It's just you lacking the work put in.
It might.
So, speaking on Whitebeard specifically,
Whiteboard.
It is actually hard to argue that because I mean it's the same argument that I put towards Jiraiya. Like he has.
Oh my! I knew that shit was coming. I knew this shit was coming.
The difference is though, right? The difference between
my God.
And Jiraiya.
Get copyrighted. Play some clips.
The difference between Whitebeard and Jiraiya.
Let's be real. His problem is that Whitebeard didn't kill anybody he wanted to see get killed.
But he flipped
exactly. He flipped the ocean over and he killed like 200 regular marine soldiers.
Like so.
fodder niggas, whatever you call them. It don't matter though. His whole approach was never offense. He literally put himself on the front line for defensive purposes so that his grand fleet could get the fuck up out of the trap that was being set by the Marines. He doesn't understand context. He just wants the people to go in. Oh, they say you this nigga. Then I want to see you just go in and be straight brute force and just go in and attack without thinking. No, he thought it through. If Blackbeard didn't think it through, them motherfuckers wouldn't have got up out of there. It would have been a selfish act for him to just go in there and fight. He sat there.
For this conversation.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm just chilling.
So look, with that being said, bro, like I told you the other night, even his own junior little nigga that was a pirate that portrayed
name Marco,
him,
sir.
Fuck him. The nigga that stabbed him while he was sick, you feel me? Snaked him. I said what I said. He snaked him. You feel me?
Oh, you talking about other bro. Okay, I know.
Okay,
Not
cool.
Marco.
So he snaked him. Whitebeard still didn't do nothing about it. You feel what I'm saying? He was literally a walking punching bag that whole fucking thing, bro. I don't give a fuck how y'all feel about it, bro. And he got smoked.
Because anybody that watch One Piece know that niggas in One Piece don't fight when they don't have to. Like, why would I fight somebody that I know I can literally beat the dog shit out of? Zoro and Luffy got worked inside that bar.
I remember.
By Bellamy's people.
Facts.
And literally Luffy was like, Zoro, don't do nothing because a wise man once said, man, there's no point in fighting fights that ain't worth fighting, bro. Because we can literally dog walk these niggas. Dog walk.
I call that poor leadership, nigga. Because Zoro wasn't on that type of time, nigga. Zoro was finna put niggas on t-shirts, and that nigga Luffy was like,
but there was a bigger message. That's how you know these type of people that use.
The wise men that he's talking about was fucking Blackbeard, nigga, fucking op, nigga. So what we talking about?
No, that was not Blackbeard.
Blackbeard really walked up to this nigga after they got mopped up, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I get why y'all did what y'all did."
He explained what happened.
So
that's not who told him. The OG. No. That's how I know you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They were told that prior to that. Luffy had a whole flashback while they was getting their ass whooped to the old nigga in the village that told this nigga that.
Are you talking about Rayleigh?
No, it was red hair shakes, nigga. Red hair shakes, nigga. Red hair motherfucking Shanks. When Shanks and him got did how he got did at the bar and OG poured the alcohol on him, he told him there's no point in fighting the fight when you know you can whoop niggas. Some people out here just need that in their life. And I'm gonna let them have it because at the end of the day, we seen what happened. The niggas got they shit maxed the fuck out when it came to point. Like, you can pour beer. What do you say? You can pour beer, you can pour booze on me all day long. But when you fuck with my friends, then I'm gonna step. That's exactly what the fuck was going on. That's the One Piece all about that. I'm not gonna fight a fight that ain't worth fighting because I don't have to.
And I saw that part. I'm not gonna lie though, I do have quite a bit of bias towards Blackbeard because honestly, I had dropped One Piece for like years. Then I saw a clip of Whitebeard saying, just putting his hand out and breaking reality.
Yeah,
like, and I was like, hold on, when did they start doing that?
That kept me in there.
No, so right before, what was the arc before Skypiea? It was one of my favorite arcs. It was between Alabasta and Skypiea. It was like a
oh, that's when they was doing the liar, the liar dude. I forgot the name of it exactly.
When I got to there, I had just
Nolan the liar. Yeah. That was I forgot the name of it.
I had gotten kind of exhausted on One Piece because that's right around the time that Naruto Shippuden picked up, and the fights for Naruto Shippuden had really went up to a different level. Bleach picked up. Well, Bleach had always been kind of high for me, just because their fights were always kind of just really cold. Like I always expected the way that they did it, and One Piece didn't take that next step, so I had gotten bored, and that's when I really started getting into anime heavier. So I was watching stuff like Hunter x Hunter 2011 weekly. I was watching Excel World. I was watching Kenichi.
I just watched that.
Yeah, so One Piece had kind of gotten boring because it was too happy-go-lucky. It's also the same reason why I dropped Fairy Tail, because it didn't get serious enough for me at the time. And then a couple years go by, and I see Whitebeard come out with that, and then I come back and see Skypiea and Inaru was on business. Like Anaru was different, and then we get to Water 7. Then we get to Impel Down, and then we get to Marine Ford, nigga. That was peak anime period for me at that time. Because I still hadn't really dived into seinen like that yet. I hadn't dived into some of the darker stories and the stuff that really compels me into anime at this point. So like Whitebeard in himself kind of like reinvigorated battle anime for me. So I'll always have a bit of affinity for him, and I can never like go with this whiteboard. You dig that he's saying? But
Put a nigga on a t-shirt.
Coming from a nigga that's dressed like a chalkboard. That's crazy.
But I can't completely deflect it because again he doesn't have any big name W's, but the way he was the barrier for his whole like army of people to survive, they would have all been dead if it was not for Whitebeard taking that L for him. So I got respect.
I need you to keep that consistency. You don't be saying that shit about Lee. That nigga be talking about Lee taking no L, taking no W's.
What did he do? What did Lee do to like provide for other people? Like what did he do to like boost?
Remember during the Sasuke retrieval arc when them niggas were holding off Kimimaru from fucking just wiping them niggas out?
You talking about when he came and got his ass beat and got drunk and then had to get saved by Gaara?
Yes, and kept him from hawking down Naruto them niggas from getting to Sasuke, yes.
You talking about when
he was a
Naruto
distraction.
Was still there, like
he literally the same situation. That nigga was a distraction. Except he didn't, get a hole put in him.
But honestly, if Naruto would have stayed...
3.
Yeah.
And stood and died on his feet still. Wouldn't nigga that's gonna die on their feet with 3 holes in it?
If Naruto would have stayed and fought Kimimaru would have took that L. Like that's a fact there.
I don't know. I mean, with the Nine Tails getting involved, maybe, yeah, but... That nigga may just die before that happened. I ain't gonna hold you.
If you look at it from a backwards perspective, because you know the Pirates was with Whitebeard, Kimimaru will basically be the resemblance of Whitebeard because he was sick, holding off some other OP niggas by himself and died. So
and honestly, like so, I'll even get into this. I don't to reveal kind of my bias against Lee because I do have one against.
I know it's very apparent
because Gaara was that nigga. And he beat that ass. Like people really gassed that fight like Lee won it somehow and Gaara won. Kimimaru was that nigga for real. And he only died because of writing. And people gassed that fight too because he did a couple moves in drunk form and still took a fucking L. So like
I think you underestimate the power of inspiration. I think for Lee
inspiration, I'm talking about facts, nigga.
Fuck the facts.
He did nothing.
Fuck the facts. The reason the show is popular in general is because
the things that actually happen, right?
Yes, because niggas watch the show for how they feel, not for what happened.
Fuck how niggas feel. I'm talking about what happened.
But you're talking
feelings over facts. That's a good.
Yes,
that's a whole debate in itself.
In this situation, for the whole reason niggas watch anime to begin with is not for what happened. It's how the shit makes them feel. For whatever genre it is, whether that be a fight being invigorating, whether that be yes, everyone is delusional. Yes, niggas, human beings in general are emotional human beings that are delusional and see what they want to see and go off of their emotions.
All I say real thing is real quick. Art is meant to be subjective, so the idea of what you get out of it is just as valid as what he gets out of it. Is what other people get out of it. That's the point of it. So there is no such thing as an objective, quote unquote, fact when it comes to
Nah, fuck all that. This shit is objective for the main fact. This shit is objective for the main factor of even from the perspective of, let's say you're going off of straight facts. At the end of the day, you're going off of how those facts make you feel at the end of the day. Entertainment, art as in itself is about, like you said, it's your interpretation, but it's how your interpretation makes you feel and what it means to you. Right. At the end of the day, when you're being entertained, it's triggering some kind of emotional response. Music, art, sports, whatever the entertainment is, it's exciting you, it's making you sad, it's making you angry. And when it comes in the case of Lee in particular, he's so inspirational to a lot of people due to the fact that Buddy is a lot of people's. Like, he doesn't have the initial talent. He doesn't have a legacy that gives him all kinds of cheats and hacks, but he does have determination and a work ethic that is
So that's you.
beyond anything else anyone could comprehend from the show. That's why he's loved so much. Now, he's not my favorite character out of Naruto, but I definitely I felt the same things that a lot of people feel as far as that game. For the same reason people like Goku so much. The training and the inspiration.
Yes, but I think Rock Lee and Vegeta have more in common in a way because the idea is their relatability. It's the idea of the person. I know in personal life, I can't relate to someone who's always a superstar, always winning, always doing all kinds of great things, always has natural, amazing talent. But I can relate to somebody who has to work their ass off to have to work twice as hard to get half as far. That's what Vegeta and Rock Lee both do. So I think that's why those characters do is, like you said, inspire. That makes sense. I get it. That's why most people get behind it. That's why most people, when they watch that Gaara fight, they're like, yo, even though he still took the L, it doesn't matter. He still stood up to him. It's the same thing as when you watch Kahn versus Hisoka in the arena. It's like, yeah, Kahn gets the shit beat out of him, but it doesn't matter. He still stood up to him. He still got the lick in. So it's like, those are things that inspire people the most, I think, in my opinion. Sometimes a loss can mean even more than a win.
Yeah, I think that's the realism in it too. Like you can, like I said before, you could be the individual that doesn't have that initial challenge of those hacks and get yourself to a certain point, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just don't have those hacks. Like at the end of the day, this nigga's never beating a Jinchuriki at that level with that skill set that he had. But
how many can?
Yeah, not many. Maybe at that point in the show, people that were known in the show, maybe like 3.
Well, plot armor.
What's crazy is though, Guy had the same like issues and got like several W's, and like Lee didn't.
Not the same because he had chakra and Lee.
Yeah, he didn't have the deficiencies he had. He had the ability to do it. He just didn't. He excelled in his place.
His Whitebeard was half dead. Nigga had coronavirus.
That he could say that.
And he literally stopped multiple attacks.
Actually, didn't he stop the war itself? That's when he died, the war stopped. Yeah. So he literally stopped the war. He stopped the war.
No.
They stopped fighting when he died.
And then
that was a battle, but literally that's what started a war. That fight was what started the war. They felt it was a big war coming on, and after that fight happened, they was like, this is the new, what they call it, the Pirates Age or whatever the case may be. That's what became the war. Before there wasn't a war because the balance between power was like, okay, it's cool. And after they took Ace, they was like, oh, we know it's funk season. Now it's about to be war.
But once Blackbeard died, the war was over.
The war is
White.
Once Whitebeard died, the war was over. That's chaotic. I don't know what.
Yeah, those are amazing moments. But to keep things up to date, give me some. I want everybody to give me some moments that stood out from them. Yeah, that's the last thing. We'll end on this note then. This is as a recap. Forget the moments. We'll go through since we had a kind of a content creation conversation initially. Can you guys give me just the highlight of the year when it comes to your guys' content creation, whether that be an interview you had, a video we did, or maybe a debate you're moderating and created? What was that one moment that stood out to you guys over the last year?
Can you repeat that question?
Let me just answer real quick. I'm about to repeat it for you, brother. Damn. It's a segue because she called, nigga. Damn, give me a second. So, anyways, with that being said, he asked, throughout doing this content, right, what are your favorite moments that you've had, you feel me, while doing the podcast and creating content? Now, I just want to also mention, since Kate Ori just called, you feel me, that's our new podcast member, now completing the 3 that we were supposed to have from the beginning. You know what I mean? Shout out to her for coming down. You feel me? We all kicked it at LA Con. But one of my number one favorite moments, which we need to clip the hell out of, was when I had the real Kima come on the show, which was the girl who went viral for saying DreamCon should be shut down. And then we had everybody come on and chime in. I just felt like that was a very intellectual conversation that happened from all perspectives. And I've had too many episodes with Jew that I've had that are memorable. Like even our debate tournaments are memorable. Some for good reason, some for not. But they're all entertaining, bro. We've had some really interesting debates. We had some really interesting topics. What's some of your favorite moments, bro?
My favorite moment is when we press end. No, I'm just playing. Like I just said the other day, my favorite moment was when we did versus talk. I don't know why, but I enjoyed it, all those conversations. Not the verses where
The actual debate.
we got the 4 rounds and niggas go at it and start calling each other all kinds of wild names. But I'm talking about versus talk. Where like I really enjoyed that. I used to be at work doing them, boy. I'd be at pop-up events, working at the booth. I'd go sit in my car, let somebody work my table, and I'd be in there doing versus talk. Boy, I was enjoying that. But my favorite moment was when we first met BMT.
Oh God.
When BMT came on that first versus with him in all black, I just was like,
Is that
yeah.
the Austin Killer shit? Is that what that was?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's like I'm here for this forever. Like when BMT came on and did one of our first versus battles where it was the player against player, like, bruh, that shit was hilarious. Our views went crazy when BMT popped up. I ain't gonna lie. But no, that was one of my favorite moments so far. There's a lot of other moments that was dope, but that right there was hilarious. When we got our first episode where niggas was on here talking shit to each other, and I was like, yeah, that was hilarious. That caught me off guard. But it was enjoyable though, man. I got other moments too, like we got to bring on a few interviewers. Like my favorite interview I think so far was probably Mia. She does
our first interview.
the comic book, but bro, she brought a possum. She had a pet possum on the show, bro. Like a real pet possum that she found on the side of the road, and she started raising as her own. Like you only see that in them crazy ass cartoons or movies where the old lady next door, she's like,
teach you to play this.
she's like, you want to pet my cat? And you go in and you find out the cat is a possum. Yeah, I think it was Hereditary playing dead, but no, she brought a possum on our show, bro, and I was like, she's like, I got a surprise for y'all. I'm thinking it was gonna be some whole other shit, but it was a whole rat possum that she found as an abandoned baby on the side of the road, and she decided to raise it as her own. And you want to know what made it so crazy? Because she black, bro. So it's like black people don't really usually do no shit like that. Like, you know, the average black cat lady percentage is like minimum compared to a white cat lady. Like, it's like, you got a possum. You do not beat everybody. You done took in possum. No, that was one of my. No. Whole possum.
I can't stand this nigga, bro. Answer the question.
Whole possum.
So within the last year or since the podcast
Where do
started?
you go since the podcast started? Since we've been reflecting.
My favorite still, like, and I still go back and watch this episode randomly, but reviewing Arcane, man. So Arcane is still, like, as much as I love Castlevania, we've talked about how much I enjoy that show. Arcane is still my favorite thing on Netflix, and being able to talk about something that I enjoy that much with people I enjoy talking with, it's always a special moment for me. Reviewing content is always something that I just really enjoy doing because it's what I wish I had more opportunity to do when I was younger. So I don't know, man. I can't say like it was anything like particularly like magical that like happened. But being able to really enjoy something with my friends, that it means a lot to me.
Yeah, no, I feel that's mine is similar to that. It was actually we did the Dragon Ball Z video this year. It took us forever to get it done. We got it done. It was a different kind of thing doing an actual video essay on a topic, but it was fun. The best part about it was interviewing so many other blurs about why they like Dragon Ball Z and what it means to them. And also seeing how the effect it had on them as far as bringing so many blurs into the community. So it was fun. It was actually fun working with Charlie in a different capacity on planning something out for months on at a time. I dug it. I really did. Yeah.
For me, I have two moments. One was our very first big interview with Mr. Graham Nolan for the validation I had of talking about how trash fucking Tom Hardy Bane was. And for the creator of the character to be like, yeah, that shit was trash too. I didn't even want that shit from that nigga. I was like, oh god, that shit was amazing from the creator himself on what he planned. Yes.
No,
Not the character.
No.
That verse, I more so the live action one from the third Dark Knight.
Because I'm like, do you feel powerful like that? When I heard that shit hit for me.
I say it.
Darkness line is just still like one of my go-to.
That's not the one you was talking about.
No, that Tom Hardy one, yes.
That is
And I say that for the factor of when you look at Bane as a character and how he's supposed to be so intellectual and independent, for him to be a patsy and go out like a bitch at the end after you did all this shit. I'm like, you kind of went out like a sucker, bro. When you supposed to be the dude, you break his back, you do all this shit.
The ending of that shit was weak as fuck.
Not to knock your favorite.
The third, yeah.
And
Not to knock your favorite.
It's, you know what's
No.
funny? I think the third act ruined that movie. It's the first two acts like, yo.
oh, it wasn't.
yo.
We talked about that one
Where's the
too.
third act?
We talked about him too.
That's why.
We talked about that too. But
Also,
the biggest
Bull-
reason too,
the football.
I talk about not caring about a character's backstory, changing their race if their background doesn't have a part of who they are. But the dude's whole background is that he went to a Brazilian prison and he's Spanish, and it was a luchador mask, and you just like he's Middle Eastern, I guess. I don't even know what that accent was.
I don't know what it is.
And he had a xenomorph, not a xenomorph. He had a fucking alien chest burster on this. I don't know. I was like, okay, dude's backstory is around this.
Part of Bane's also what makes it so cool is that I'm sure you know it's better that you create that ancient law that if your father commits a crime, then he dies. The son has to take his place in prison.
Sins of your father.
Sins of your
kept
father.
something.
Yeah, that's something that actually exists in Brazil, in the Brazilian prison they were in. So it's like that's a really compelling thing. Or Santa Prisco, whatever. It's like, yo, that's awesome.
Did they even call that hole Santa Prisca? What did they call that hole? I'm like, it's shit like that. I'm like, again, you don't have to be extremely one for one with the comic, but little shit like that, I'm like, okay, did you, especially seeing Nolan interviews where he like really did not care for superhero shit like that.
Well, because he wanted to have Heath Ledger and then Heath Ledger died. So
Right. So I'm like, bro, just do something different at that point than just, I don't know.
Anyway,
But anyway,
anyways,
that was one moment. And the second was creating two different pieces of content with the Black Macedonji. For myself, kind of growing up watching content, I watched a lot of his content. It was really different and amazing to go from watching somebody's content religiously to reaching out for a collaboration and they give you that without a second thought, and being such an amazing person and giving such amazing content. After that, I was like, damn, this is dope. I met one of my first heroes, and he was a hero in person. Well, not in person, but on camera and in casual conversation. It was dope. So that was my highlight.
Peace.
But yeah, we've had this completes our Black Man Creator Roundtable. Hopefully it's something we probably could do each year. We come to LA Comic Con or whatever con we're all at. We can knock one of these out, and I would love to get KOA back or just some more women in general to add some estrogen in the room, because it got real. I almost said word.
I mean,
it got cool, bro. It was cool. I enjoyed it, but I do want. I'm not. Don't start that back up. Don't light that fuse. Don't light that fuse.
It's
Just saying, there's a sign.
But it was dope, man. So again, thank you all for tuning in to the Then and Now podcast for the last 2 years now. And also, if you're a dual supporter of supporting Tapn, Capn, if you're not, go do so. These dudes do amazing content and do amazing work, and just finish some dope shit with their debate tournament that just finished up, that I was a part of. That was amazing. And I had a blast being the host for it. But again, thank you guys so much for your support. We hope for your continued support going forward. And this has been C Diesel, Lelouch V, Professor E, Kahn Man, and Strawhat Juffy of the Then and Now podcast and Tapn, Capn. We will see you guys next time. Peace.
Space Negro.
Space Negroes.